going to tackle the question of ChatGPT 5.0 that's coming soon. And we're going to talk about that and then how ChatGPT is right now and what this holds for the future in terms of how to make money with AI. We're going to talk about ChatGPT 5, but look at where ChatGPT 4 is right now. How smart is it? And look at all the different exams that it can just beat. I mean, 99th percentile, 93rd percentile on the GRE verbal, the SAT, the law, uniform bar exam, as we know. It does better than 90% of law students. In math, it's amazing. In LSAT, this makes me think there's so many things that I haven't used ChatGPT for, like math, for example, just things like that, or biology, advanced placement biology. So think about this. ChatGPT 4.0, we're not even talking 5.0 yet. 4.0 already is like having a high level academic student working for you. You didn't even have to pay this person. You don't have to have a virtual assistant. This is a person that's in effect a person that is incredibly smart, and they're working for you. They're on your team.
Well, absolutely. And the thing is that, I'm already seeing people that online that are saying things like, okay, people are talking about, is this disrupting jobs? Well, I already see people that are like, you know what? I fired my lawyer because guess what? I went out and I asked my lawyer a bunch of questions and I asked ChatGPT the same thing. ChatGPT gave me a better answer. So now instead of me spending $600 an hour for my lawyer, I'm only going to use them when I need this subset, for example. So we're seeing that more and more. And what's really fascinating to me, Dave, and you and I have been involved in AI for many years, is this like hockey stick progression that we have. So one interesting thing to me was the fact that 1 year ago, forecasters estimated AGI, which is artificial general intelligence, which is a big term, but basically like being indistinguishable from a human or being smarter than us. Basically, every way. The consensus for many people a year ago was that we would have AGI in the year 2057. Now, with the changes that we have, that estimate is 2032. Within a year, we have gone from, it's going to be 30 some odd years out to now being 9 years out. Well, see, when we have ChatGPT 5, there's no promise that we're going to have AGI. But if you can cut down by 20 years in a year, who's to say that in our next iteration of ChatGPT 5, we don't know when that's going to come out, but when it does, are we pretty much already there? I mean,
are we already there? The singularity, they call it, right?
Right. When is it there? Like, at what point are we, like, I'm already blown away with ChatGPT 4. I use it every day. And with all these changes, with all these different tools that are coming out that we can't even keep up with them all these processes that are changing exponentially. We tend to talk about Midjourney all the time, where right now it's crazy. Now I already asked, how can it get any better? I mean, it's just like I said, a hockey stick. And normally with a hockey stick, it goes up like this if you're talking about stocks or something, and then it comes down or it levels off. I don't see this changing.
No, it's just going to keep going like that.
Yeah, and so this exponential increase is even going quicker and quicker and quicker, right?
That's right.
Like I said, 20-year change to get to AGI. And I don't really care when we hit this singularity point. That's not on my horizon. It's just, in a lot of ways, is already kind of here. Right. When people are no longer using their lawyer the majority of the time, people no longer necessarily going to the doctors. For example, my wife the other day, she was using something, I don't know the name of it, but like a teledoc, where she could call someone and she could say, hey, I've got this thing going on or whatever. And they gave her a prescription. She was excited about that. Okay. Mm-hmm. To be able to call someone. I didn't have to go to the doctor. I didn't have to go to the urgent care or whatever. Well, there's already stuff out there right now. One of them's called Dr. Gupta, drgupta.ai, where you can go in and you can chat with what is this 95th percentile type doctor. And you can say, well, I'm having these pains. Here's my weight. Here's what's going on with me. And what they come back with is basically what your doctor would be telling you anyway. So not to say that you have to go with what they say, but I'm just saying, if you were at 3 a.m, you're like, I want to just talk to somebody. Well, you could go on there online. And so now you can do that with anything. That exists right now.
Right. Yeah, I actually literally just saw a post by somebody who I regard very highly, and somebody in the comments mentioned this site. Maybe we'll do a video on it. And this site is basically you can have an AI uh, companion, I guess, somebody you can just communicate with, talk to, that kind of thing. That's pretty amazing because these people are having relationships with an AI, and they're it's like having a buddy, that you can chat with at any time you need to. And in this disconnected society, it's kind of interesting that that is a thing that people will actually pay for, right?
I saw something, a talk with Elon Musk talking about, with AI, where a lot of times the government, of course, is slow and they react to new technologies like cryptocurrencies, et cetera. It takes them a while to come in with regulations. That may not necessarily be a good thing with AI, but I feel like, Dave, we're going to have things, to your point, with relationships, where you're going to have people that say, I want to marry my AI.
Right.
Right. You're laughing, but I think that's
Yep.
coming. They're going to
Yep.
say, I have a relationship with this such and such AI, and I should have the right to marry that AI. Or maybe the AI should have rights. Like right now, the AI is kind of like
Well,
slaves to us, right?
think about this. Think about the AI is embedded in a robot. So now you've got you've got a completely perfect, let's say, quote unquote, perfect companion, right? Somebody that is a robot that's designed to look and feel exactly the way you want them to look and feel, but also communicates exactly the way you want to communicate, like the perfect person, quote unquote,
Right.
but synthetic. I mean, that's right around the corner, right? Because just merging those two robotics. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos of these robots. They look so real. It's almost, it hits that what they call the uncanny valley, where you're like, is that real? It's kind of weird. It's a little odd because it's so real, but it also, it's not real.
That's right.
And then implanting the AI that you programmed into it. I mean, imagine having that. That creates all kinds of issues, like ethical issues and things like that, but it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen, right?
Well, and then in terms of from a business perspective, that's where I see a lot of, like, there's the technical side of it. Look at like cryptocurrencies, right? Cryptocurrency, the big thing initially was Bitcoin, that Bitcoin can have a store of value. Is it an asset or not? But then it turns into a whole other thing with like NFTs, et cetera, down this rabbit hole of cryptocurrencies. The same thing with AI. Right now, everybody's just excited, like, look at these cool images, or look at the fact that you can make videos, the technical aspects of it. Well, I think it's going to move more about customization. So, like you said, Dave, you have this AI, you're having the AI interact with you the way you want it to. But I have an AI that I want to work, like, it's going to be fully customizable. I think
Right.
that's where it's going to go. It's like, the sky's the limit of what it can do. It's just that you're going to want it to react your way. I think
Right.
and so there's a business opportunity where you will be able to mold AIs for someone. So someone's really into comedy, Dave.
Right.
We were talking about comedy the other day. Well, maybe you can make this AI act the funny way you want, or whatever,
Right.
write articles like a certain comedian, but you could provide that to someone. I think that's a very big opportunity.
Yeah. Imagine that. Like you had the funniest friend in the world, and you could provide that, and you input the funniest comics, or you input, like they list these are my favorite comics. You just input all of their stuff into the AI, and now it's the funniest AI in the world, right? And you could offer subscriptions to that. Here's a weird thought that came in my mind. I don't know, maybe it was because the way you were talking, but I know there's this service where you could call somebody and they'll just insult you. Have you
Sure.
heard of that? You've heard of that, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and again, it has nothing to do with what you just said, but
Every time you call me, and I don't even pay for that.
just imagine like you could program an insult AI, and people apparently, they like this, they buy it, right? You could just program an AI to just insult the heck out of you, and that could be your chatbot, right? And it just knocks you down every time. So
Yeah, or like, and think about things like senior homes. There's a big proliferation in senior homes of Alexa devices, because seniors could talk to the Alexa devices. What's the weather? Tell me the news. They may be in a situation where maybe they're confined to their room a lot. They have more of a connection to the outside world. I just feel like it's going to be more and more of that. There's
Yeah.
going to be more and more of this thing. Or like you said, Dave, maybe I'm into certain comic books. It's all about the AI is going to be so powerful. It's going to be those that can curate the AI to give it to people the way they want. So just like, for example, with Midjourney, it makes these cool pictures, but there is an art and a science to be able to get the pictures the way to be able to express to the AI how to do it. You can do it,
Right.
but how do you talk to it like that? How can you almost talk in the language of the AI to get out of it what you want? I feel like that is going to be a real nice skill set to have in a bunch of different ways, that if you're able to make it that it gives people what they want, you're going to be able to charge for that service.
Yeah. Here's another interesting thought. So I'm a Star Trek fan, and on Star Trek: The Next Generation, they have the holodeck. And the holodeck is where you go for entertainment. And it's basically a deck in the starship, and you go in there and you're in a virtual environment, and there are entire stories created in there. And you could literally choose, like, oh, I want to go back to medieval times, and I want to be a knight, and I want to do this and this and this. You pre-program it, then you go into the holodeck, and it's all done for you. And now you're experiencing this. Imagine that with the metaverse, those goggles you put on or whatever, and suddenly you design your own movie that you want to be in. So instead of watching a movie, you're in the movie and you're experiencing it in real time, and it's customized to your preferences. So it's like dreaming, but you're actually physically, experiencing it. And maybe you have a safe word. It's like, oh, this is getting gnarly, I'm out, and whatnot. But imagine that. I mean, that holodeck concept is about to be a reality. Like literally it probably already is a reality, right?
Well, the world's is going to be about customization very soon. There's already airports that you can go into that when you literally look at the flights, it only shows you the flight that you're going on.
Wow.
It exists right now. And I believe you're going to have, where you're driving down the road, you'll be able to wear certain types of glasses that it'll depending on what app you use or whatever, it's going to say, okay, when you drive by and you see a literal Starbucks, it's going to be like, well, here's a coupon for Starbucks or whatever. Or there'll be like dating things that if I was single and I was walking down the street, it would say my age, sex, whatever, I'm into this. Like it'll, like when someone looks at you, even though they're not talking, they're like, oh, this guy's single and whatever, he's my type, or it's not.
And he likes being insulted.
Yes. So, but that's it. Like, so to your point, Dave, you kind of came up with something really quick. You came up with the Star Trek analogy and customizing it. But that's where the world's going to be. It's really just what is it that you want to come up with,
right?
And that's going to be served to you. So it's going to be a very interesting time when, if you're into certain types of movies, you literally, because you either create it or because now a certain subset of people create it, all of a sudden, it wasn't that there was 10,000 horror movies to choose from. There's now 10,000 horror movies a second being created that are just as good as any horror movie you ever watched. Like, What happens there? What happens? Just like YouTube, right? You think about YouTube when it first came out, there was a few videos. Well, now there's more YouTube videos than you could ever watch probably per second.
Right.
So now it's all about, okay, you and
personalizing it.
Exactly. You and I we follow, whatever, crypto, we follow internet marketing, we follow AI, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so communities will form all around this stuff. It's going to be about communities. So all of a sudden, hyper communities, there's going to be 1 million people that are into horror movies that are done by AI. It's not so much that it's being created, it's the communities kind of that are created around there. And that's where a lot of the money will be made, because the AI is going to like commoditize this kind of stuff. It'll be like, okay, you're the community now,
right?
Host of all these people that are into the stuff that the AI creates, and then you're making the money that way. Like, I think that's going to kind of spawn.
Yeah, well, that's big picture. And it's interesting that you said you're using AI every day now. And I'm heading in that direction of starting to use it every day now myself, because I'm starting to develop the habit of going, oh, I can do this on GPT and do it. Or, oh, I can do this on Midjourney. Like the most recent video we just popped up today, I used Midjourney to create the image of like cloned robots, and things like that. And it came out really great. I would have in the past had to pay a designer who knows how much because that image doesn't exist until I type it into Midjourney, right? So just in that similar way, I've recently been making money by offering SEO articles. And we did a video about that recently in our channel, so you guys can check that one out. But it's so simple to do these SEO articles, and there's so many places and people that need this. And so recently I got paid to do 100 articles, and I just type it into ChatGPT. It spits out the articles, do a little modifying, and you get paid. This morning, I recommended the same idea, but a bigger project to a client, and that could potentially be a big deal too. So, and this is stuff that I could literally, like, this is, how can I put this? This will take so little of my time that to not offer it to a client is kind of not smart. Like, I might as well pick up that money as it's coming in, because now this allows me to do so much volume of work in so little time and get paid really well for it. So let's talk a little bit about how you make money with this. Talking about ChatGPT 5, when you suddenly have something that's even smarter than what we were looking at here, something that's even smarter than a law
99
student.
99%. See, you notice there, and those numbers are going up, Dave. So it said the verbal skills are 99%. Well, the SAT for math will be 99%.
Right.
Or 100%. LSAT, so the law school admissions test, 88th percentile. Well, I mean, again, it's going so rapidly. In a couple months, those are all going to be 99s.
Right. And imagine, like, for example, chemistry. I remember I got a D in chemistry, okay, back in the day. But imagine that you've got a world-class chemist, working for you, and you're wanting to build a supplement, like a natural supplement, and you say, what would be the perfect supplement ingredients for this, and this, this goal that I want to achieve, and it gives it to you. And then you maybe consult with a real chemist and say, I'd like to create this formula, and give me some additional ideas. So always, right now, we've been using ChatGPT as a base layer, or think of it as a first step, right? A rough draft. But I think at some point, it's not going to be that. It's going to be like, it'll give you exactly, without you having to go anywhere else to confirm, verify, it'll just give you exactly what you want. And not only that, you'll be able to combine other AIs together and say, now we're talking about auto GPT, right? Combining several AIs, you say, okay, great, thank you, chemist. Now this AI, go create it, create the marketing for it, create the sales page for it, create the sales copy, create the ingredients label, create the UPC code. Okay, now this AI, go ahead and list that on Amazon. Let's run a marketing test and see how it does. By the way, on Amazon, run the ads for me on Amazon to see how it does. Let's get some initial data before they even go to market, like to produce it. They already know whether it's going to sell or not. And now they go, all right, let's go into production. Another AI, produce this and ship it, right? So it's like, you're just going to be the orchestrator of the orchestra. You're going to be the conductor, and you're going to be having these AIs do all this stuff for you. And so it really boggles the mind when you think about it that way, that all you're going to need to do is be the person with the idea, and everything else will be created for you.
Exactly. And the thing is, right now with the AI, where the current state, sometimes people are like, well, I kind of don't necessarily agree with 5% of the responses, and it may not be exactly correct. Well, it's going to get to the point where, again, you're 99 percentile plus, where if I had to ask somebody about something medical, okay, you have your regular doctor and they're professional and there's a lot of value, but you know what? If I had a problem with my heart, they're gonna get me to the heart surgeon. Now, within the heart surgeon, there's a whole level there. And there's this guy, he's been doing it for 40 years versus the guy that just came out of college. Well, imagine, the top heart surgeons out there, and you can now talk to that top heart surgeon in the world. It's like you're not even going to necessarily be questioning things. Like, this is it. And to your point, Dave, so many people, when they're thinking about making money, it's like, well, am I solving the right need? Am I going after the right people? Do I have the right thing? Well, now when you see that there is a problem that's out there, whatever that problem may be, you can then, that is not solved supposedly by the general population, you'll now be able to ask AI to solve that problem. So, for example, I just saw a lady the other day, and she made $1 million from this app that she made to help people with anxiety. Okay. And so, a lot of people have problems with anxiety, couldn't have help. But however, she knew how to help people with anxiety. You should breathe this way. You should blah, 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 blah. Well, whatever else it is that somebody has a fear or have something, the AI is going to be able to tell you, boom, here's how you solve it. Here's the steps you need to take. Like the top person that ever helped somebody with fear of snakes, whatever that is. And okay, first you start off with a fake snake and you stand 20 feet away from it. Then the next day, stand 50 feet. Whatever that process is to get to the point where they're handling snakes, boom, you could have an app created in half a millisecond that someone could pay $5 for to fix their problem.
Yeah.
It took you half a second to ask the AI, but someone else like, oh, I'll pay $5 and my problem solved. Oh my gosh, this app is so great. That's
incredible. And it's interesting you use that example of a snake, because I know Tony Robbins, for example, in his early days, he would talk about the fear of spiders, for example, and how with NLP, he could remove the fear like almost instantly, right? So imagine an NLP app or a hypnosis app. That one seems a little scary. Imagine the AI hypnotizing you.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's, again, when we thought about the internet in 1994, we couldn't even comprehend.
No.
And so these advances are happening so quick that when you just say something, Dave, when you said, will the thing be able to hypnotize you, right? We have to kind of think about that for half a second. Well, these things are going to change so quickly that if you can think of it, it is possible. So if that's 6 months from now, a year from now, when we hit this so-called singularity, when you think about that, it would be able to create something that would be able to flash the screen at you a certain way, would be able to talk to you a certain way, where it would maybe hypnotize you to stop smoking. Like that'll come.
Can you imagine that? I mean, I think that's a multi-million dollar idea, an NLP app or a hypnosis app powered by the world's best hypnotists or the world's most incredible NLP, therapists, let's call them. That would be big. So,
and Dave, for those that don't know, so NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. Do you want to just quickly?
Right. Yeah. Neuro-linguistic programming. And the bottom line with NLP is you're able to create different patterns in the brain through either suggestions or through movements, that when they create these different patterns, suddenly your fear is gone, or you have more confidence, or you have less anxiety or less depression or whatever, because everything is neurotransmitted in your brain, right? And a lot of times these have been created there over many, many years or through a traumatic event. So if you imagine if you could just detour that one bad circuit in your brain to work correctly, that would be a way to describe NLP. And it can be done very fast. And so the person who popularized it was Tony Robbins, because he got excited about NLP and how he could create change in people really fast. And so just imagine, gosh, if you could be able to do, and you could do it. I'm not saying if you could do that right now. Another time, I think, James, maybe we edit this part out, because that's a multi-billion dollar idea right there.
Yeah. And that's the thing, discoveries are going to be made, multi-billion. What's it going to be like to live in a world where multi-billion dollar ideas are created every half second? What does that world look like? We can't comprehend it.
That's where we are right now, though. That's why Microsoft put $10 billion with a B into ChatGPT. That's why there's a race right now by all the top tech companies and other companies. They're racing into AI right now. It's so massive. Like you and I mean, we're like a little surfboard on a gigantic wave, right? But the gigantic wave is being powered by billions and soon trillions of dollars going into the space, because this is 10 times bigger at least than the tech wave was. It's going to change everything. And yes, in some ways it's going to change it for the worse, but in many other ways it's going to change it for the better. So it's an exciting time to be doing this.
Yeah, it's like a revolution. You had the Industrial Revolution, and you can argue, the internet was a revolution. Well, this is just, I don't even think it's arguable at this point. This is bigger than the internet,
Absolutely.
So this is the biggest thing ever. And it's gonna, look, you brought up Star Trek, okay? I'm not a big Star Trek fan, but I remember one scene in a movie one time where the doctor, he goes back in time, and there's this old lady in a hospital, and she's about to die or something. He's like, He's like, oh, and he just gives her this. He's like, oh my gosh, he just gives her this little pill, and then she's
Right.
like, yay, I'm healed.
Right.
Well, it'll be that way where it'll be like, okay, Dave Espino, your cholesterol's here, you're this, here's your age, blah blah. Boom, here's this pill, and it's like it's just completely customized to you, and you're like, you've just extended your life 5 years, and that kind of stuff's going to happen. Very, very.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it is definitely, the future is here now. And if you don't realize it, you're going to get, left behind. So just be on top of it, be looking out, be listening to our channel. This is an interesting video, James, because we're not focused on a specific way to make money, but we're more like we zoomed out and we're able to see the many opportunities that are
Right.
coming. And I think it's still going to be super helpful for viewers to go, wow, I had no idea. Yeah, you guys are showing me how to sell, SEO articles, great. But the bigger picture of this is going to be incredible. So
Absolutely. This is an amazing, amazing time. I think this is one of our best videos yet, Dave. So I'm excited for the viewer. And our big goal at this point, first was 100 subscribers. We hit that. As of the time of making this video, we're about to hit 1,000 subscribers. So help make that happen for us. That's a big goal for us. And then the next time it's 10,000 subscribers.
absolutely. We're going hockey stick as well.
Yes.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Making Money with AI. Be sure to pick up your free gifts down below in the description, and we'll see you next time on Making Money with AI.